All right, welcome to our Wednesday night wind down. I'm so excited about tonight. We are going to be doing a restorative practice, and this practice is going to be all about leaning into trusting the stability. And so in this case, we're going to trust the stability of our props, trust the stability of being able to just rest and relax. So the idea here is all you have to do is allow yourself to breathe and be. But I'm going to give you some other things to kind of work with it. Now, we are going to tap into our props. So I've got a couple bolsters, a couple blankets. I've also got a block here, and we may use, everything. We may not. It's up to you how much you need. I also have an eye pillow. You might want a scarf to cover your eyes when we finally lay in a pose for a while. And then, as always, loving it if you have a practice journal that you can journal in after. So, we are going to get started in a slightly different way because this class is focused on this idea of connecting to stability. I really want you to start to feel rooted. So we're going to start somewhere a little bit differently. I'm going to have you lay down on your belly. So on your mat, lay down on your belly to the best of your ability. If you need to make any changes, do so. It's okay if you're on your back as well. And what I want you to do here, I'm going to have you breathe and feel the belly on the ground. As you connect with your belly on the ground, as you're breathing, I want you to feel that connection, the core, your hips, your legs, the thighs, all just resting on the mat, allowing the mat to support you. So taking deep breaths in through the nose and out through the nose, and imagining that you can really let go into the mat. I'm just going to add a little note here. If you haven't turned your head to one side and rested a cheek, please do so. We really want you to feel relaxed here. We're setting the tone for this practice. And as we do this, I just want you to sort of call upon the energy of the first chakra. So the first chakra is about stability and safety. It's about grounding. And when we feel stable, when we feel grounded, when we feel safe, we really can thrive. We can take risks. We can have more fun, more freedom. So we want to call in that feeling of safety, the feeling of support. So as you connect to the ground, the floor, this mat, imagine that you are completely supported. Not just your body right here, right now. You're supported by the breath, your lungs just doing their job. You're supported by this fact that you're doing this practice right now. And I'm sure there's so many other ways you can see support happening in your life. And I'm sure there's a lot of ways you would love more support, more stability, more trust. And instead of feeling into any lack, I want you to imagine that you're drawing it closer to you, like this practice is going to allow you to be a magnet. Good. Now, before we start moving into any other pieces of our practice, I want you to focus on your exhale. So we're going to inhale for a count of 4 and looking to exhale for a count of 5 or 6. So you might have to count it at first. And then at some point, you'll be in the pattern. Now, why are we looking to extend our exhale? This allows us to let go even further. Imagine that you're able to cultivate a deeper sense of calm, continuing to let go. And then when you're ready, rolling over onto your back. All right, so our first pose that we are going to do is on our backs. You technically don't need any props for this one. However, you might like it. So what this one's going to look like is we call this one the banana. So you are going to lay all the way out and extend the arms. And then you're going to walk your hands to the left. We're going to start with the left. Sorry, your feet to the left, your hands a little bit to the left. So you're shaped like a banana. Now, if you're having any difficulty with the arms overhead, don't worry about it. You can leave them at the sides. This is not a time to judge your body. You're just going to allow yourself to rest. Now, why I said you could use a prop is you could kind of shove the prop to the side to help you, or you could put a prop underneath your arms to support your arms. All right, so don't overdo this. It is a simple pose, but as you extend through the side body, it can feel like a lot when we lay here for a few minutes. So just get yourself set up and then start to rest. Now, as you continue your breath pattern, right, we are breathing in for 4, exhaling for 5 or 6, right? We're extending that exhale. We're extending this idea of allowing ourselves to feel so safe and supported we can let go. So we're extending that exhale. At some point, you're going to again rest, not just in this pose, but in the breath. And when your thoughts arise, like, oh, you know what? I have this other thing I need to get at the store. Oh, I should make a list for all the things that I need for that recipe. Oh, I just remembered when these thoughts arise during our practice, I want you to call upon the Bija mantra for our Muladhara chakra, for our first chakra, our root chakra. And that Bija mantra is Lam, Lam. And you can speak it out. You can use the actual sound, or you can just feel into it. So continuing to rest here in your banana pose as comfortably as you can, continuing to settle in even more. Imagining in this pose you're unwinding, and that the mat again is just holding you up. You don't have to do anything but be. Really steep in this idea. You can let go. Beginning to deepen your breath in your bellies, gently starting to walk the heels to center, the arms to center, and then drawing the arms down. Good. Just centering yourself in the center. And then when you're ready, maybe moving, if you were using your prop to kind of hold you in place, you can move it to the opposite side of your body. And you can start to walk the heels over to the right this time, drawing the arms up overhead and then walking the arms over to the right as well. Reminding yourself that you can prop those arms. If the arms overhead don't feel supportive, if it feels too much, remember keeping them down is just fine. Once you get settled, coming back to the breath, that extended exhale. And when thoughts arise, calling upon the Bija mantra, Lam, Lam. Beginning to deepen your breath in your belly, slowly walking the heels back to center, the arms back to center, and then drawing the arms down. Good. Just take a moment to feel centered and then roll over to one side and slowly push yourself up. We are going to move on to our next pose. All right, this is going to, I would recommend if you have a bigger bolster to use the bigger bolster. If you don't, you'll make do with your smaller bolster. You can even plant a stack of pillows. So we are going to move through again the side body, but now we're going to add a little bit of a twist and get into the hips as well. So you are going to I'm going to start with my right side. You can start with your right side. Your right side, essentially, that hip is kissing the bolster. That's how I like to think of it. Then you're going to place your right foot just gently on the left thigh. So you're kind of in sort of like a mermaid or like a seated position, just like hanging out at a picnic, right? So what we're going to do here is you are going to first try to settle into this, and then you're going to see if there's any other modifications, any other props that are going to help you feel supported. So we are going to lengthen through our spine. And then here's what I want you to do. I want you to think about twisting from the hips to the best of your ability. Don't twist first through the shoulders. So what that means is we're going to look at the bolster. And when we do so, I want you to think that you're moving first from the hips. You're going to walk your hands down either side of the bolster, and then maybe turn your head and rest a cheek, the opposite cheek on the bolster. So then you're doing the twist from the base of the spine and up, also getting through that side body that we just lengthened and the hips. Now, if it's too much, here's the thing. If the full twist is too much, maybe you want to add another bolster, a couple blankets, and even possibly just resting on the side, still getting in here, breaking up some of the tension, and allow yourself to rest, okay? So please make do, again, one more time. Imagine that you're twisting from the low hips, the hip area, and then walking yourself down and allowing yourself to be supported. Now, once you get there, if we were in person, I would come around and I would bring a blanket and I would place it on the low back just to help you feel even more grounded, help you feel supported, and just have that like nice swaddled sensation. Good. So get yourself in this pose. Maybe you're already there. And settle into that extended exhale. Inhaling for 4, exhaling for 5 or 6. And imagine that you can visualize your body relaxing, feeling this support. And even though you're in a different kind of position, your body is just really available to unwind, to let go, to open. Again, if thoughts arise, you can come back and anchor into the Bija mantra Lam, Lam, Lam. You can say it out loud or just say it in your mind. Beginning to deepen your breath in your bellies. Gently starting to press into the palms as you slowly draw yourself and arch back up and start to turn around so that you can extend your feet in front of you and your low back is kissing the bolster now. So just you can maybe pedal it out a little bit. Maybe there's some movement that needs to take place. And then you're going to set up for the other side. So you're going to turn, your left hip now is going to kiss the bolster, that right or that left foot is touching the right thigh. Remember, you're twisting from the base, from the hips, walking down. Then settling in, and then maybe putting that blanket on your low back. Now, take your time getting into this. Coming back, once you get there, settling into the breath. Minding your body that it's safe to let go. Sort of every breath informing the body that it's allowed to release tension. Maybe you can feel a sort of melting sensation through the neck and shoulders, a warming. And as though there's like a heaviness that's allowing itself to drop away from the bones. So your body's able to expand and feel light, feel free. Continuing to breathe. Beginning to deepen your breath in your bellies. Gently pressing into those palms, slowly starting to arch up, and then stretching your legs out as your low back touches the bolster. Maybe pedal it out. Great job. So the next pose we're going to do, I'm going to do it at a little bit of an angle, but you might do it straight on. So facing our little online meeting here. So I'm just going to be a little bit at the side so you can kind of see I'm making a pizza slice with my legs. If your hamstrings are really tight, you might want to prop up your sit bones. So just going to take my blanket that's as such, it's folded, and I'm going to allow it to go right under my sit bones. Now, if for some reason your knees are also just feeling overworked, a little blanket underneath or like a hand towel rolled up could be really nice too. But you're probably going to be okay. But just always be managing, how am I feeling? Does this feel supportive? So now you're going to take your bolster. And here's the tricky part. We want to make sure that we're going to be able to move forward. So we're moving into these hips and we're also allowing our legs, the back of our legs to lengthen. And this might not be enough. Okay. You might need to take another bolster, take another blanket, put on a few pillows, stack it up. This is supposed to feel really good. Like some people don't like this word, but the idea of it just juicy, just luxurious, all the props. Okay. Now, propping it up, maybe you're going to even include a block, and you're going to get this stuff up higher. You're going to draw it towards your belly, towards your navel, and then you're going to start to roll forward so that you can be supported. So hopefully you can kind of see, adjust this a little bit more from the side. So you can see like I've got this right in, right kind of at my belly, right where my rib cage is, and then I'm going to fall forward. Now for me, with my arms around my bolster and my head supported, I feel really good. But if you're feeling like your neck is coming a little too much, you again either might want to have another block here to rest your forehead, or you might want to roll something up. So just, I'm going to err on the side of you're going to know what's going to feel good. So do that. Okay. Once you're there, settle in. So even if you're stretching, see if you can relax the stretch so that you pull back just a little bit and then let the legs go. We shouldn't be straining and settle. Now, again, if you have extra blankets, I say a blanket just on the low back, just sort of resting on it might be good. So go ahead and finish getting yourself set up and start to lean forward and enjoy. Beginning to deepen your breath in your bellies, slowly drawing yourself back up, lengthening through that spine, and then unstacking all of those lovely props and moving them off to the side of your mat. So our next pose is simply child's pose. Okay. Now, supported child's pose, really want to make sure you're really comfortable here. So I've got the bigger bolster that I have. Again, you can always make do by adding more blankets or even a pillow on top or a cushion. I'm going to widen my knees so that I can put the bolster as much as I can in between. Now, the next thing is if you can sit and you feel really comfortable stretching out through the thighs with your sit bones on your heels, that's great. However, if you're feeling extra tight, please roll up a blanket and put it underneath your sit bones so that you're able to stretch and have something there for yourself. Okay. Then the next thing is you're going to lean forward and rest on the bolster. Again, if it's too much, stack something on top. The whole idea here is for you to feel really supported, for you to feel like you can let go and not be distracted by the pose. So make any changes. I'm going to highly recommend that as you are here, that you have one cheek, and then I'll let you know halfway where you'll just lift up, come back to center, turn your head the opposite direction and find the other cheek, okay? So again, as you settle in here, imagine that your body is melting, that you are feeling so safe, so secure, so grounded that you can allow yourself to let go. You can allow yourself to lose control by being supported fully by these props, by your breath, by your simple ability to connect with this idea that you are supported. So go ahead and settle in. And I will let you know when we reach our halfway point. Beginning to deepen your breath in your belly, you're just going to lift up ever so slightly, bring the head back to center, and then turn in the opposite direction as you settle back in. beginning to deepen your breath in your bellies. Starting to press into your palms, slowly drawing yourself back up. All right. So this pose that we are going to do is a little more involved, and there's some options. So I'm going to have you take a bolster, and you might have to try both. I'm going to use my bigger bolster so I can show you what's going on, and also because I feel like it's more supportive. So one of the things that we want to do is we want to be able to open up through the side bodies, through our hips. So this particular pose, I'm going to move this and then I'll show you how I'm going to add it back in. So we're going to allow ourselves to roll over and go over and arch over this bolster. Okay. So now you can see that I have my legs staggered like we did one of our other poses. You have your option to leave it this way. And this is probably a little more relaxed. Okay. However, you might want to put a bolster between your legs, or you might want to kickstand that top leg out in front of you. Let's see if I can kickstand and kickstand the other one. So you're really propping yourself and then you're arching over. Now, here's what I would say is it might be nice to have a little blanket underneath my head here to feel supported. And then I want to be able to rest my arm on top of this block. So then it allows my arm to open and it's supported. I could even stack another block on top or blankets. You kind of get the idea. Again, there's no, perfect way to do this. Each of our bodies is going to kind of crave what it wants. I'm going to put my head on top of this here, and then I'm going to stretch out my legs because I like the way it feels through my hip and side body. But again, if I wanted to just hold my legs here, I might feel just as good. So play around with this. You can also play around with a smaller bolster or even adding another blanket kind of in the middle to make it a little more cylindrical, right? Like a half circle. Good. So go ahead and get to that place and start to settle in. So take your time getting there. Make sure you're propping it. We're going to do both sides. So you're going to have time to be with this. Come back to your breath. Come back to this idea of really allowing the body to come unstuck. As though it's completely okay to let everything go. So safe. So supported. Extending that exhale. And then coming back to our Bija mantra. If it feels like it helps anchor you, Lam, Lam, Lam. Beginning to deepen your breath in your belly. Taking that arm, if it's still overhead, and gently, slowly bringing it down. Adjusting the legs and then slowly pushing yourself up off of the bolster. Taking a moment to maybe sit on your heels, lengthen through the spine, just get centered again. And then when you're ready, turning around and getting to the other side. So setting yourself up so you really can arch over that bolster. And then allowing yourself to play with the legs and breathe. Beginning to deepen your breath in your bellies. Bringing that arm down if it's still overhead. Adjusting the legs and then pushing yourself up off the bolster. Coming onto your knees maybe. Sitting on the sit bones. Moving everything off your mat. All right. So we're going to do another supported hip opener. Okay. So what this one looks like is you just need one bolster, but then I'd also recommend having a blanket nearby. So what this looks like I've got two bolsters, so I can have one on both sides. All right, so I'm gonna start with the bolster on my left. So, and I might need to adjust the angle. I think I like the angle a little bit to the side, maybe more 45 degrees. So what we're gonna do is your feet are gonna be on the floor. You're gonna pick up your chest, draw the shoulders down, and then you're gonna pick up the hips. You're gonna shift them over to the right. Then you're gonna drop the left hip because it's gonna reach the floor first. Lengthen that left leg. And then because you've set yourself up for success, you're just gonna twist. And oh, you know what? I want to do both, and I had to make a decision. We're not actually doing this one. I'm so sorry. I want to do that one too, but we're actually going to pick up our leg. So pick up your left leg. Sorry, adjust your hips, make sure they're even. Sorry to be confusing. You're going to adjust those hips, and you're going to pick up that leg, and you're going to drop it out to the side so that it's supported by the bolster. Okay. And you're going to lengthen the right leg. Now, just to give gravity, let gravity do its magic, you're going to take that blanket and you're going to just put it on your leg so it holds your leg in place. You can bring your arms out to a T and you can rest here. Now, if you find that it's just not, you're not feeling enough of it, like just adjust the bolster so you can bring your leg out any amount. Maybe you need to bring it a little bit higher up toward the hip and then open and then let it rest with that blanket. Then just settle in. So take your time, open up through that inner thigh and hip, and start to focus on that support that you're getting from the bolster and from the blanket. Connecting to that extended exhale. Beginning to deepen your breath in your bellies. And gently, slowly taking that blanket off the leg. Maybe bending that knee and drawing that leg back into center. Bringing both the feet to the floor. And then doing maybe some little bridge movements through the low back. And then when you're ready, again, picking up the chest, drawing the shoulder blades underneath you, bringing your arms out to a T, picking up that right leg this time and opening it out, lengthening through the left leg on the floor, and then taking that blanket and tacking down your leg. Good. Settle in again, focusing on your exhale, allowing the body to melt. Imagining that you are completely able to surrender. Surrender not just to this pose, but to now. Surrendering to the breath, to your being. Allowing yourself to be supported without having to do anything but be. Beginning to deepen your breath in your bellies, taking the blanket off your leg, bending that knee and starting to draw the knee in. Maybe bringing both knees in just gently, rocking from side to side a bit. And then when you're ready, rolling over to one side. All right, now we are going to set ourselves up for a crowd favorite called the Queen. This is prop heavy. So I've got two blocks stacked as such. So second setting and then highest setting. Then you're going to take your bolster and set it against those blocks so that the blocks can support you when you lean back. Okay. So I'm almost make sure those are touching. Okay. So this is step one. All right. Step two. This part involves maybe a strap or just lots of other blankets, or soft blocks. Okay. So if we had all the blankets in the world, I would put blankets underneath your knees. So my feet are making a little diamond here, right, with my legs. And you're going to, again, open up through the hips, but we want to do so in a really supported way. So if I can prop with blankets or pillows on either side of my knees, great. Otherwise, you can use your strap. So you're just going to lace up your strap. So you got a circle here. And then what I like to do with this is I just like to bring it over my knees and then open it up to the desired capacity so that I can basically open up my legs and the strap is holding me nice and snug. But I can probably make some adjustments, opening it up to a certain amount. Okay. So just for the sake of ease, I'm going to use this strap. And then what's nice is that sometimes if it starts to feel too much, you can always pull and yank and tighten it up. So keep the extra strap part towards you so you can adjust if needed. Okay. Then what you're going to do is you are going to take one of your blankets and you're going to roll it up. Okay. And kind of set it next to you. This is essentially going to be an arm rest. And then you're gonna, if you have extra bolsters or extra blankets or pillows, same thing. You just use it as an arm rest. Okay, so you're gonna get 2 of these, 1 for each arm. The last 2 pieces here is you're gonna slowly bolster so you can see a little bit. So my low back is kissing the bolster. I'm gonna gently lean back. Oh, I know I'm supported, right? Now I need to check a couple things. 1, my arms are supported. 2, if I am craning backwards so that my chin is coming up and I'm feeling my neck really opening, then you need to put a little hand towel or something underneath the back of your head, just so that your chin is either slightly tucked or in alignment with your spine. So you're not doing any craning. Okay. Then you can put a scarf or an eye pillow over your head, and you can put a blanket over your belly and then cover your whole body in a blanket and feel cozy. Once you get here, you're not really going to want to move. We're going to stay here for a little while. So take your time getting all the props that you need. If you need to go into another room and commandeer the cushions, do it. This is what we're going to sit in this for a good 5 or 6 minutes. So I really want you to feel like you are supported. The idea here, again, is we're opening up through the hips. This is called the queen. And if it's really supported, then it's safe to be in such an open position, right? Having the legs spread wide can be a lot. So again, having a blanket over can feel really, really nice. Having the blanket on the belly and kind of over the pelvis and groin area can feel extra supportive. But just imagine that as you allow yourself to be here, you can let go in this, in some cases, kind of a vulnerable position. So we really want to make sure that you're propping yourself so that you feel that support, that you feel that safety, and that you allow yourself to enjoy this. So taking your time getting into it, like it is a little involved, and then settling in, deepening your breath, extending that exhale. And if you want to be really playful in this pose, you can think about, if I were being fully taken care of like a queen, what would that feel like? What would it feel like if I knew the whole world was sort of waiting on me, making sure that I have what I need, making sure that I'm fed, making sure that I'm listened to and understood, making sure that I know what I want, what I need, what's available. What if I was being waited on by the universe and it it was responding to my receptivity, my ability to receive all that is good. Just release and relax into this letting go, into the support. Beginning to deepen your breath in your bellies, bringing some awareness to the hands, and then starting to remove some of these props, maybe the blanket, maybe there's the blanket on the belly and the torso. Maybe you need to start to bring those knees in and take off the strap, whatever is needed so that you can slowly start to sit up and extend those legs. And then bring your hands down, push away from the bolster. All right, so we're going to move into our final pose. This is where you're going to rest in Shavasana. I'm going to give you a couple choices because you might just be feeling one more than the other. So one of a crowd favorite is to put your legs up on blocks. So you do that by putting them one at a side by side. We call it Stonehenge, and then putting a bolster on top. Okay. Now, once you do that, you can just get close, pick up your legs and put your calves on top, and then walk yourself down and release. Maybe you want to put, again, a blanket on top, same sort of idea. You're just going to allow the low back to settle into the floor. You could do the same thing on a couch. You could lift your legs up onto the couch as long as it's not too high, as long as it's about level with your own leg so that you're not straining. The other thing that you could do if you like, regular Shavasana is always an option, but there's also this one that's a little bit fun, and it's called the Babbling Brook or Mountain Brook. So you have a bolster for under your knees, and you have a blanket folded up. So folded up as so. So coming here and then making it rather narrow. Okay, so this is going to go underneath your rib cage. All right. And then it's possible, depending on how big the bolster is, you might want to have another rolled up blanket underneath your ankles. Again, we're going to be settling into this for a while, so you want to feel supported, you want to feel comfortable. So your knees will go over, get the blanket just so underneath your rib cage, and bring your arms out to a T. Maybe grab an eye pillow or scarf for over your eyes and settle in. So I would say, pick your poison for your corpse pose. Oh, wow. And start to allow yourself to be. Now, as you get into your corpse pose, the instruction is going to be this. You're going to continue to focus on your breath, but this time I want you to imagine that as you're breathing, you are filling up the legs all the way into the pelvis, through the hips, and that the legs are feeling so relaxed and so alive. So we're connecting to this idea of really allowing ourselves to be grounded, supported, feeling safe. So just imagine that your legs are feeling so alive, so supported, strong. But strong with the ability to let go. There's like this lightness instead of like a heavy, deep, overpowering, overwhelming feeling through the legs and the hips. Imagine that there's this strength, but it's effortless and light. Continue to focus on your exhale and allow yourself to be. Beginning to deepen your breath in your bellies. Bring gentle awareness to your fingers and toes. Now, depending on which posture you took for your Shavasana, just allow yourself to draw yourself in and then to the right. So maybe you're going to take your legs off the bolster or off of the couch, wherever they are. And you're just going to roll over to the right in a fetal position. Gently start to push yourself up to a comfortable seat with your eyes either closed or downcast. As you push yourself up to a comfortable seat, please know that that comfortable seat might be a chair, so make that switch. Make sure that this seat is supported with props so that you can stay still for a few more moments. Lengthening through the spine, slight chin tuck. I'm going to have you take your right hand and bring it up towards your nose. You're going to curve and bend your index finger and your middle finger down so that it's touching the point between your eyebrows, just above the nose. Then you're going to bring out your ring finger and your thumb. So I'm going to have you close the right nostril and inhale through the left. Imagine that as you inhale, you're inhaling to the point between your eyebrows. And then exhale through the left. Inhale through the left. Exhale through the left. Now you might need to bring your elbow in and maybe even rest your elbow on your opposite arm. Inhale through the left. Exhale through the left. Keep going. Inhale through the left. Exhale through the left. Keep going with this breath pattern, inhaling through the left gently and then exhaling through the left gently. Continuing to relax the body, maybe feeling a nice quiet sensation throughout the body, a certain way of being right now. And then you're going to gently, slowly let this go. Keeping your eyes closed, you're going to bring your index finger and your thumb, so the tips of each together, and extend the middle ring and pinky fingers. You're going to come out to your knees or onto your thighs. Lengthen up through the spine. We're just going to do a mini meditation and visualization just to seal in our practice. Relaxing through the breath. The body, feeling that sense of ease cascade through. And I want you to picture the earth. I want you to imagine that you are in a garden. And this garden is unlike any other garden you have ever encountered. Yes, there's beautiful flowers, there's incredible plants and shrubbery and trees. But this garden, when the seeds come to be planted, they are being steeped in abundance. These seeds know that they are completely safe, completely secure, and completely okay to birth into whatever it is they're supposed to be. As you walk through this garden, feeling your bare feet on the grass, I want you to imagine that Just this simple act of you walking and exploring this beautiful garden, you are planting seeds. And those seeds are possibility, opportunity, safety, security, a wild sense of connection to all that there is available in this planet, almost more than you can even dream. And as you continue to walk with your bare feet on the grass in this garden, suddenly you start to feel like you're taking root. Not in the sense that you're planted into one place, but that you're feeling connected to absolutely everything. As though there are these imaginary cords, these energetic cords coming down through the soles of your feet, grounding down into the earth, keeping you tethered, supported, reminding you that you are part of everything and everything is part of you, that you are allowed to grow and expand. You are allowed to dream, and that it's time to relinquish and surrender control and let this garden, the earth, and that which is support you. At some point, you begin to feel so relaxed in this garden that you just want to sit. You find the most incredible place to sit in this garden. As you continue to sit in this garden, knowing that these seeds are planted, the possibilities are endless, that you are open to so much that you are ready to receive. You have a sense that you're full of color. There's so much color, so much joy. And it starts to bleed through you into everything else. And you start to feel even more one, even more at peace as you continue to breathe in the garden. Continuing to see yourself seated in this beautiful space in the garden. Continuing to feel supported by the grass, by the earth, by the feeling that the garden exudes. Relaxing your body as you continue to breathe. Feeling a smile come across your face, feeling your heart start to explode. And it's as though you can hear the garden whispering, so it is. As though there are wishes that are going to be granted. You just allow yourself to trust. Tucking your chin just slightly. Taking the last few moments in this garden, gathering the feeling of you are ready to bloom. It's coming. Feeling into that, knowing that this is something you will carry with you from beyond this practice. Deepening your breath in your belly, starting to acknowledge that this space that you're in is somewhere in your home, that you're seated on your yoga mat, that You are here. Gently bring one hand to the heart, one hand to the belly, tuck that chin, and just thank yourself for making time for you, making time for this practice, making time to be, to let go, to welcome in rest. Thank you so much for sharing your practice. Please make a little time to write in your journal what you experienced during this practice, maybe what you like, maybe if there's a pose you want to continue and you want to tap into this idea of these seeds that you planted throughout the week to week, especially as spring is coming towards ours. And if you have any questions, any requests, please let me know. Thank you so much for sharing your practice.